Welcome gamers, my name is Daz Tactic and we're going to be looking at sim/management games in this particular episode of the Games Radar for 2024, the games that are upcoming. I do want to make an honourable mention again because I don't know if Boat Crew will actually get any more content this year. Sort of hope it does. Even updates would be great. But this is certainly one of my top games from 2023, and so I'm sort of hoping that there's more things coming with this game. This is an awesome game. Anyway, I wanted to give this one an honourable mention because if you are looking for I guess the management side of this particular game isn't that much. It's actually probably more of a strategy game than anything, but it does still have that sort of like that, almost that sort of like that boat sim or flight simish type sort of aspect to it. Having said all of this as well, I will actually preface this whole presentation to sort of say this is not going to be your typical flight sim. In fact, I've got no flight simulators. Oh no, I've got one flight simulator in it, but it's not your typical flight sim. So it's actually a little bit different. It's more of a management game to do with flight than an actual flight simulator. So there's no strict flight simulators in through here. So a bit of a hybrid group again. So it's a bit all over the place. I'm guessing if you've watched my content, you're sort of used to this sort of stuff where it doesn't really sort of fit any one particular category. But these are games I really am looking forward to this coming year. So do we start? No, I'll go through very quickly again just the scoring, just so you sort of know how I've actually scored these. Scored into 4 different categories. There we go. The first category is user experience / user interface. So just the overall experience of managing the game and playing with the game, the tool tips, that sort of stuff, just the overall experience for the actual end user, which very important with anything, whether it would be computer programs, websites, or games in this case. So that's my number 1 category. Number 2 is replayability. I find this really important. I don't like playthroughs or walkthroughs essentially of games. Puzzle games, I do enjoy puzzle games, but I don't cover them much because there's really only sort of like one way through. So these games will score fairly highly on their replayability. Number 3 in my sort of list of different things that we then sort of get up to is the aspect of the actual game mechanics behind what's going on as well, and sort of the gameplay. So that's my 3rd criteria for judging, and then my 4th criteria, for me the most important, is my own personal preference as to how much I'm going to be enjoying playing the game. And so the games will sort of vary amongst these sort of 4 areas, and then it sorts itself out. I then sort the games out to end up with my top 10 simulation / management games of 2024 that I'm looking forward to. So, honourable mention, Boat Crew. I just wanted to get that one out there. I don't know if there's more content coming. If there is, this should be definitely towards the top of my top 10. So just be aware of that. If you don't have it, highly recommend this game. It's an awesome game. So Boat Crew, a real surprise packet, I've got to say. Again, by Microprose, who've got so many great simulation games in their stable of games. So look out for if you don't actually have it. Number 10, we have Nebulous Fleet Command. Now, this game actually came into early access a couple of years ago. I believe it's going into actual release this year, so look out for that one. This is one that I struggled to get into, to be honest. I didn't play it for very long. It's very much like a real-time game where you have to sort of react to all sorts of weird and wonderful things. But this is one that I'm sure that people who do like flight sims will enjoy this, or particularly space sims, I guess, space flight simulators will enjoy just the realism of this particular game. It looks like, you can see there, it's got very positive reviews, so like 89%, 91% basically. So these are very high for these sorts of games, which is great. So people who play it love it. I only played it for a very short period of time. It was a little bit fast for my own sedate play style, so I sort of found it a little bit overwhelming personally. But again, a very good simulation, a space fighting simulation that's done extremely well. So it sort of says through here, so take command of your hand-tailored fleet of space warships and use realistic radar, electronic warfare, advanced movement controls in 3D space, and precision targeting to outmaneuver and outwit your opponents in a simulation-heavy tactical space game like no other. This reminds me very much of, like, if you've watched the TV show The Expanse, this reminds me very much of that, like as in an actual actual simulation game that sort of embraces that whole style of combat, which, as I say, it does it extremely well. So Nebulous Fleet Command is my number 10. I think for many of you, this game will actually be something that is going to be very exciting for a lot of you, which is Homeworld 3. This is my number 9. Now, I didn't really play much of the original Homeworld. So, sorry, even Homeworld 2. I just didn't play much of it. I will try to get into this one and just sort of see how I like it. I'm not super anticipated about the actual game, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of people out there who will be really looking forward to this one. It's coming on the 8th of March, 2024. Again, I'm in Australia, so the dates we see there will be a day behind the usual typical release date. So I just subtract a day from whenever you sort of see the release dates, and then that will be the day that it does actually end up getting released. The reason that it's a day less than what I have is because I'm usually a day ahead in terms of, because we're sort of at the start of the date line essentially with so most games end up releasing either in European time or in American time more typically. So in that case, the release date is the 8th of March. So this looks to be very, very cool. Again, it's a flight simulator of type. So this is basically tactical, beautiful, and wholly unique. The Game of the Year winning sci-fi RTS returns with Homeworld 3. Assume control and battle through fleet combat in dazzling full 3D space while the award-winning story unfolds at a galactic scale. So the story aspect is one thing I'm not looking forward to. I don't really care much about story. So in this case, this is why it's probably sort of like towards the bottom end of my top 10. But still, anything in the top 10 is definitely worth having a look at. So Homeworld 3, exciting for so many people who love the original games. Again, I wasn't one of those, but I can appreciate just how much people will be looking forward to this particular title. And for number 8, I've got Universim. It's got the word sim in the title, so it must be a simulator. It's actually more of a sandbox city builder god game, basically, but it's still technically a simulation, I guess, to a degree. Again, I'm really clutching at straws here. Like, does it fit as a simulator? It does simulate the growth of different things, and you sort of then operate it as a god game. So it's very, very loose in that sort of category. So jump straight into managing your own planets as you guide a civilization through the ages, build the ultimate empire in the Universim, a new breed of god game in development. So there we go. So that one is currently in early access. I believe it's supposed to be coming into a full release this year. So look out for that one. That's Universim. I do want to get my hands on this one actually and give that one a bit of a crack. But this is very, very loosely into the simulation aspect, I would think, in this particular list. There's a few games like that. Number 7, I've got Capital Command. So this is take the helm of a state-of-the-art warship as you fight epic space battles in a sandbox campaign. Upgrade and customize your ship, master the art of maneuvering, and use a blend of tactical prowess and heavy firepower to overcome deadly threats. This one for me seems really exciting. Like, I'm sort of looking forward to getting my hands into it. I'm really scared that I'm just going to be not fast enough to be able to really sort of do what I need to do in the game. A bit like Nebulous Command. There's another hooded horse game, again, like Nebulous Fleet Command as well. So similar sort of game, very similar sort of game, but it does look very, very cool, very interesting. So can't wait to get my hands on this one. It is coming sometime this year. We don't know exactly when, but it does look great. It looks very, very interesting. So this is a flight simulation. It's set in space. So again, in the whole 3D environment, etc., you can sort of see there, even just with the animation that's going on, or the video that's actually in there, it does look interesting and exciting. The reason that this one rates a bit higher than Nebulous Fleet Command is because it's a new game. So there's similar sort of ratings. The user interface looks a little bit more intricate, but that may be a bad thing, so I just don't know about that one. So we'll see what this one's like, but it's a game, again, I'll be looking forward to at least sort of giving it a go, seeing what it's like. It may be outside of my skill set. We'll soon find out. Number 6, we've got Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks. This is an interesting title. This is another Microprose game. This is less of a simulation and more of a management game, but it does actually have sort of sim-type aspects to it as well. So I'll just read it out what it sort of says in through here. So Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks is a unique combination of tank design and tycoon game. It puts you in charge of an arms trading company specialising in tanks from World War I to the modern era. Research, design, sell and follow your tanks in battle to make your own history. So it looks like there's it's got a building aspect, it's got the design aspect as well. So if you like the sort of construction type games, then you've got that in here as well. You can see there actually, in the vision that's actually on the screen at the moment, it does look really quite interesting with different sorts of technologies becoming available as you sort of then add them to your tanks. Once you've actually got the tank built, you then can go and test it in combat. So you've got a bit of a battle simulation in through there as well. So it's got the tycoon, it's got the simulation. What more could you want? In fact, you can see down through there. It's the tags are simulation, tanks, and historical, basically. So it is a sim game, but it is a management game as well to a very, very large degree. So looking forward to this one. I will be getting this one, and I will be covering this game. I know that for sure because it's coming fairly soon. It does say coming soon. I don't know the exact date that it will be coming, but this one does look very, very interesting. Now, I have heard from other people who have played early versions of this that it's an exceptional game. So look out for it. It's one of these games where I don't know about the user interface. I don't know about the replayability of it either. So I've sort of rated them a little bit lowish. This is why it's number 6. But from my own personal wanting to play the game, it's sort of right up there. So it's one of these sort of simulation games I'm really looking forward to playing. And you can see there, this is the simulation type aspect, the battle simulation, to sort of see how it does go. It should be a fun game, I think. Again, just based on what people have told me of the game, I am looking forward to playing this one. Showing again my very, very loose grasp on, on the definition of games. I have put Field of Glory Kingdoms in here for the simple reason that even though this is a 4X game, it simulates the medieval world incredibly, or it will, like when it actually does, when it is released. This is one of these things. These are historical simulations. I don't even know if it says that in the actual in the title there. So politics, religion, war, they're nothing without a legacy that can stand the test of time, lead any nation and turn it into a mighty kingdom in one of the most compelling grand strategy games ever created. And so this is that's not idle boasting. The way that Agiod actually designs games and puts them together, they look at the different game mechanics and find ways to really mesh them in beautifully. And so, again, we're looking at, when we look at Field of Glory Kingdoms, we are looking at a really historical simulation that you then play inside of and can direct a faction within history. So, you will learn a lot about around the era, I think it's like 1050 is like the era that this one actually comes from. So just before the Norman invasion of Britain, of England. Then we've got essentially the game mechanics themselves will also then sort of will encapsulate that era as well, like with the different sorts of resources. There is some randomization in the way that the resources play out, so no two games will be exactly the same. Now, having said that, the replay value of the game won't be as high as some other games, which is why it's not at the top of this list. This is in terms of my own wanting to play a game, this is one of my top games of the year to be wanting to play. So I can't wait to get my hands on Field of Glory Kingdoms. Makes more sense intuitively than Field of Glory Empire did, which was more of an ancient game. So that was fairly complex with some of the game mechanics. The game mechanics in this have been looked at a bit more stringently to try to make it so that they aren't as unintuitive. So it's still complex the way it does play out. There is a simplish way to sort of play the game, so you can actually sort of get past that initial, needing to learn so much about the game, which Field of Glory Empires did actually have like a fairly steep learning curve. This one will still have a learning curve, but it won't be as steep, I don't believe anyway, as Field of Glory Empires. But it will be, again, if you're interested in history, if you want to sort of see it like almost like it's not really a simulation of history, but it might as well at least present that. A bit like is Crusader Kings a simulation? I would argue yes, and for the same reasons that Kingdoms will be as well. So there we are, Field of Glory Kingdoms. Yes, I know that it's a very tenuous grasp on the simulation word. Hey, it's my video, I can do what I like. Anyway, that is my number 5. For number 4, we have Scramble, Battle of Britain. This looks very, very interesting. I can't wait for this game. This is my kind of simulator. This is something that's not a flight sim as such. It's more of a battle simulator. It's a WeGo system, like it's turn-based, but WeGo. So you basically give it orders and then let it play out for a short period of time, give it another set of orders and keep on doing this thing with the dog fighting, etc. So I know there's a lot of people looking forward to this game. And so this is my number 4, simply because we don't know what the user interface is going to be like. I'm assuming it's going to be good, but I just didn't know. So I couldn't really push the scoring up. But again, one of the games, if it launches this year, and it has been delayed a little bit, if it does launch this year, and I really hope it does, I think it's going to be a pretty exceptional title. It's going to probably be a little bit nuanced, but I think once people actually get hold of it, I think it'll take off. This sort of game is simple to pick up in so many different ways. So I don't know how much of a management game it's going to be, but I think it's, in terms of it being a WeGo, like everyone's sort of playing a turn-based but playing at the same time. I think it's going to be interesting. So it's not actually strictly a flight sim. It's the only flight game I have in this particular list, but it's not really a flight simulation. So it says Scramble Battle for Britain is a simultaneous turn-based dogfighting game with dynamic flight physics. Shred your enemies in a 3D airspace by planning your flight path, executing spectacular maneuvers, and reviewing each plane's movement at the end of every turn. So this is very much like Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, which is exceptional in its also the way that the fleets, or the actual battle fleets from Galactica played out, and that is still one of the best flight sims that you can actually have in any game, even though that game is a fair few years old. And so again, Scramble Battle for Britain, really looking forward to what comes from this one here. So I'm not sure when it's coming, but it's coming at some point. It may not be this year, maybe next year, but it looks exceptional. Anyway, can't wait for this one. Number 3 in my list is Falling Frontier, which I'm really looking forward to, actually, with this one coming. But it's not coming this year. It's coming the year after, in 2025. I'm sort of hopeful that at some point I'll get like an early version to be able to show at some point this year. I'm sort of very hopeful to be able to do it. I've been looking forward to this game for quite some period of time, as I know most of you are as well. When I'm sort of talking to you guys in the community, you sort of do mention Falling Frontier a lot. And we've looked at this a lot over the last year or so, just with its development. The development has been a bit slow recently. It is only like a one-person development team, but it looks exceptional. And this, again, is going to be a beautiful flight simulator. So it says, conquer a vast procedurally generated star system in Falling Frontier, a sci-fi RTS where intel and logistics are decisive factors. Design ships and raid enemy supply lines, lay minefields, and construct recon stations and ambush enemy forces within asteroid fields and nebula. This is probably more than anything is going to be very much a simulation of like a type of game that really does embrace the Expanse TV show in the way it's going to be sort of playing out. You can see down there at the bottom there with the tags, the second one across is simulation. So yes, I think this one really does fit as a simulation game. Maybe a little bit more sort of fleet simulation rather than actually flight simulation. We don't really have any true flight sims in this particular list. It's a tenuous grasp on the simulation field. Anyway, Falling Frontier, not strictly a 2024 game, but maybe towards the end of the year I might be able to get my hands on it and see what it's like. It certainly looks fairly polished from what I've sort of seen, like well, you can see it there in the screen. It does look very, very cool. Anyway, I'll go to number 2. Okay. It's not a simulation game. Actually, it does say simulation. I've been vindicated. Actually, well, what it is, the reason that this is my number 2, this is my number 2 game, by the way. I love this game. So this is actually, well and truly right up there. But it's not a simulation that you play as a simulation. It's a simulation of a space empire. And so you can play this game without doing anything at all. You can, and look, when you look at some of the reviews, some of the reviews are negative because it says it's like watching paint dry. I actually love these sort of games where I don't know what's going to happen, and depending on what's happening in the galaxy, different decisions were made by the empires to promote different things or attack different groups. For me, this is an incredible game just as a simulation game. Even if you do nothing and just watch what actually unfolds, it's interesting. For me, it's a space opera. That's the best way I can think about it. It's just I've always described this as a beautifully unbalanced space opera where stories develop and sort of come to the fore. You don't know what they're going to be as you start to play the game. One of the great things about this game is you like, even though at its core it is a simulation and like a space empire economic sort of warfare simulation game, you can inject yourself into any portion of this, but you've got to be in the mindset that you are playing inside a simulation. If you don't have that mindset, if you go in thinking, I've got to play this like Stellaris or Gal Civ or one of those sorts of games, which are more board game style 4X games, you will get punished in this game. It's going to be frustrating for you. And so, actually, even less than the punishment side of things is actually the frustration levels. I know that people who play it that way are disappointed in this game. If you play it as if you're looking at a simulation and you're injecting yourself into small portions of it to do different things at different times, you possibly, like me, will grow to absolutely love it. Like Distant Worlds 1, one of my all-time favourite games. Distant Worlds 2 has replaced that. So for me, this is one of my favourite games. Even though the reviews don't show that, they don't sort of do it, but I really feel that a lot of the people who are playing the game, even if they've played it for a long period of time, are not embracing that simulation style. Now, I may be being unfair to some of the reviews. Look, leave comments, if you sort of disagree with what I'm saying here. I do like to sort of see what people feel about games as to why they struggle with certain games or why they don't like certain games. What is it? Where's the disconnect for you? I think it's valuable to actually be able to discuss those sorts of things. And I certainly take, when people actually give me feedback like that, I try to see, is there something I can do to promote a game in a way that overcomes that, or is it valid criticism that I need to then pass on to to you as the audience? Is it something where there is actually a legitimate concern that I'm not seeing? Because I know that there are certain games that I absolutely love because I don't see the issues that some other people have. Age of Wonders 4 is an example of that, where I love it. I can play it all day long and just keep on replaying it, whereas other people actually get bored with it after one or two games. Distant Worlds for me is one of these games that is just one of these works of art. It's just a beautiful, beautiful game. I absolutely love it. And the reason it's in my list, actually, well, because, it is a simulation game at its core that you then just play as part of it. But the other side of why it's in here is because there will be some interesting DLCs coming this year that I think will really, really push it forward. It says on the word on the screen there, pirates. I think that there'll be a pirate upgrade sometime this year. I think there'll be an end game upgrade as well, along with the normal updates that come with the game. So there's still a bit of quality of life things to be added to the game, but I'm really looking forward to see where this game actually ends up over the coming years. And it's, as I say, just treat it like a simulation game that you're actually injecting yourself into. Treat it like a space opera where you're actually watching a story unfold and you're just pushing yourself into whichever part of the story you want to be involved in. I love it. It's just one of these, as I say, beautiful works of art that is just going to get better and better and better over time. So from my perspective, I don't get where these mixed reviews are coming from. I don't see it myself. But I do respect, I actually enjoy reading negative comments because you can learn more about whether it's going to be right for you or not. And the negative reviews, like watching paint dry as a negative review, doesn't bother me. I actually, I don't dislike games where I don't have to actually be clicking a button all the time. I don't mind watching something unfold. I play this game on normal speed. I don't speed it up because there's usually so many little hidden things happening. That if you sort of zoom in and have a look at stuff in the normal speed of the game, you see so much more than if you play it at full speed, where you're sort of missing everything. It's just everything's happening at a what I would consider a frenetic pace, but for others it's probably a bit boring because they're not getting involved. But for me, it's that whole space opera side of things makes this game so damn good, so damn good. Anyway, that's my number 2 is Distant Worlds 2, and really looking forward to the coming DLCs that'll be coming and the updates will be coming this year for this great game. And my most anticipated game of 2024 in the sim category, this is not really a management game, but in the sim category, is Silent Depth 2 Pacific. I'm really looking forward to this, actually. This is one thing that it's sort of funny because it looks like it's a really cut down version of a simulation. It looks very, very simple. I like that aspect of it. I'll just read out what it says. It says Silent Depth 2 Pacific is a light sub-sim. So you enter the silent service at the command of a Gato class, or Gato class, I'm not sure what the pronunciation is of that one, submarine on war patrols during World War II. How long will you survive? And ultimately, how much tonnage you sink is down to skill and cunning. So I don't know when this is coming, but it looks great. This particular game. It's saying it's a light sub sim also makes it sound like it's going to be fairly quick and easy to play, which is not a bad thing for these sorts of games. So it's going to be more. This is again probably more like a flight sim. In this case, a boat combat sort of simulator than most of the other games that I'm actually looking at. But I'm really looking forward to it. It looks beautiful. The actual game, the water simulation looks fantastic. Just a whole lot. It just is a great looking game. I don't know why they called it light. For me, it looks like a very, very cool sub sim, not a light sub sim. Anyway, I don't know when this is coming. I don't know what it's going to be like actually even, but I'm really looking forward to playing this one. So this is my #1 simulation game in this particular category. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe if you do like this sort of content. I'm sort of thinking if these become a bit more popular, and I enjoy putting these sort of videos together, I will actually sort of look to do more of these, during the course of the year. Try to find something, maybe even when there's sales on and something like that. Just sort of have a quick look through the sales and start putting videos out with my, the games to look for in the sales as they sort of come up. Because about every 3 months, Steam has a special sale, and it would be, if that's something you like, please let me know. Please also get involved in my Discord if you you want to sort of chat with like-minded gamers. It's a pretty cool community. I like it. It's not overwhelmingly busy over there, but it is fun. So and also in the description you'll find different links to my Patreon, to coffee.com, things like that. So anyway, guys, I will leave it there. And my game store, nexus.gg/DazTactic, my online game store, which has got many of my favourite games in through there as well. Guys, I will catch you in my next video, which I'm not sure what that will be yet. This is going to be one of my... I'm doing a whole series of the top 10 list of different things, and there'll be another... still got a few more to go through. So anyway, this is my top 10 sim/management games. Not very many management games in this one, but anyway, that's where we are with this particular one. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.